Hello and welcome. I am Katrina Pratt Roebuck, and I am the CEO of Uplifme. Uplifme is a national resource hub that shares information on social service events happening across the country that address the social determinants of health. And we also highlight the great work of community-based organizations right here in Philadelphia. So today I have with me John Rowe, the Executive Director for the Utility Emergency Services Fund, also known as UESF, and Liz Kimball, who works with UESF in their community engagement and housing stabilization efforts and is the director of the writing program at Drexel. So welcome you both and thank you for being here.
Thank you, Katrina.
So John, I'd like to start with you. Can you talk a little bit about the work of UESF and the services that you provide?
We provide services to keep the utilities on after they're off. And because we have been so involved with this up close and personal with the clients who need utility service, we evolved into stabilization, which is only the prevention of problems before they occur. And Liz is I don't know what the word should be, is the one who runs that, where someone may come in through another program, not our stabilization or direct assistance, but they need more help.
Okay.
And we can put that person into another program so that stabilization can occur. As I looked over the numbers quickly, we served about 200,000 people since the beginning in stabilization, meaning that if we did our work right, and that's a big if, then they won't come back to get utility assistance again because we solved it once and for all. That's what we want to do. And we're about halfway there, I guess.
That's
My
amazing.
explaining who we are has to be explained also. And people want to come to USEF and get a check.
Mhm.
But then they want to get a check next month too. And we don't see that as solving a problem. We see that as managing a problem. So that's what we need to do. And what Liz does is she gets the programs together. The writing course that you had alluded to is about what do people need and who are they that need our services. So someone comes in into a program because they need help with their kids who are in school. We have a program where we can help kids who are in school. But almost all the time, what's needed is more assistance with what they have. That what they have isn't enough. So in defining what is enough, that's Liz. The FEP program is where we will help a family who have kids in school and they're not doing so well. Maybe the electricity went off. The kids can't do their homework. So we'll make sure that in order to accomplish the FEP program, which is another program in stabilization, but very closely related, that's what we'll do. We'll make sure that that happens. And that's what Liz does. I hope that answers the question as to what we do. It's been a long time coming that we do provide the utility assistance. But what I quickly realized is that we can't abandon our utility assistance. That has to be there too. And we are. So part of the 200,000 people who we helped, a portion of that has been stabilized. They've all received direct assistance though.
That's incredible. You've served a lot of people. I was not aware. What's the time period of that 200,000 folks that were served?
From 1983 to the present.
Okay.
And I looked at how many we do a year times 40 years. That's all I did.
Wow.
And
okay.
so we are pretty close to the number. But now we don't only serve a lot of people, we serve a lot of people differently to stop them from coming next month again.
Right.
And that's the only way we can save money.
So can you talk about, so you said FEP. What does FEP stand for?
That's a program funded through the United Way. Now, part of my job is to create partnerships with a variety of vendors. Now, sometimes that produces something good and something bad. But the FEP program is funded by the United Way, who was funded by the United Way. And now we see ourselves being in a position to take that over.
Okay.
And
the acronym stands for what?
Family Empowerment Program.
Okay, thank you.
That sounds simple, but it took a long time to get to that.
Sure, sure. Yeah.
Uh,
So I think that the fact that you guys are addressing the utilities in an immediate crisis is obviously very important, but I'm also very, encouraged by the holistic approach that you all are taking, not only just to address the utilities, but thinking about the family and also thinking
yeah,
about how you address other social determinants through your work to stabilize families. So I think that that's really powerful. And
you
not sure
have it.
if
Yes.
the general public knows that. Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
can you talk a little bit about, and I know that from your work as well, that you also serve veterans. I know that in years past, you've had specific programs addressing veterans. Do you have any special populations that you address, like the work that you've done with veterans?
Well, what we'll do is that we'll see what works, like say the FEP program. We'll start to expand that with other programs. So we make sure. So I don't have an answer as to what they all are because the list isn't complete yet. We're looking at it really closely. The FEP, what we'll do is make the FEP program very successful. But at the same time, we'll make our direct utility assistance very successful and our housing stabilization. It's all wrapped up into one. And that's what Liz does. You talked about holistic. Liz talks about the human element of it. No, she doesn't talk about it. She teaches it.
Hmm.
And it's pretty cool.
Okay, so Liz, I'd like to turn it over to you. Can you talk a little bit about your work more in depth that John is alluding to?
Yeah, I mean, I think I see my role as being a person who can work with the staff and work with the mission of the organization
Mhm.
and through the avenue of working with students, actually,
Mm.
to be in a place of understanding the context that the organization is facing, sort of sociologically, economically, but also helping us all to deal with the kind of social and emotional contexts of what we're doing, getting some healing and support for this really hard work. So that, when we talk about a holistic approach with our clients, it's also a holistic approach with our whole team so that we're taking care of each other and we're in a space where we can constantly learn. So the really fun thing with the Writing for Social Change course that I teach at Drexel is that our students can come in and kind of be a sounding board, helping the staff really talk with people who are curious, and interested and honestly awed by what they do. And, in that listening and that dialogue, I think the staff really get a chance to see how important it is and how significant it is what they're doing every day.
That's wonderful. And so the opportunity that you're also providing to the students to engage in and witness at work, what are sort of the overall goals of your program? And as it relates to UASF or any other types of contexts in which students can learn in this way?
Well, for my students, I mean, they're there to learn about writing for social change. So we spend a lot of time like looking at the documents that the organization produces, like grant proposals and reports and things like that. Thinking about that sort of, you know, as a professional skill that students want to acquire. Um, for the staff, as I said, I think what we're doing is we're providing a space that's set aside from the sort of crush of daily work,
Mhm.
and helping them think about, you know, what their day-to-day operations are really doing as well, sort of theorizing them and thinking about how they change. So when John talks about, we're figuring out what's working and then changing it continually, this is a space for doing that.
So
Yeah.
what I think is amazing about what you're doing is that you are highlighting the work of a community-based organization, sort of breaking a silo between sectors of academia and community-based
That's well
organizations.
said.
Right. And I think that writing for social change is something that I think a lot of community-based organizations would really love the opportunity to tell their work, to showcase their work. And then that sort of in-person, real life experience, real time experience that your students are having, I think is really a wonderful opportunity to amplify the voices of community-based organizations. And so, John, I think you were going to say something. I want to turn it back to you, and I apologize if I cut you off a little bit
Oh,
early.
that's okay. It's me trying to remember what it was I was going to say is the real challenge here. Liz had talked about how there's a dialogue between, let me broadly say, USEF and students, pre-USEF and post-USEF people.
Mhm.
I mean, we see what we do as expandable. We see that what other things do we do that could be included into this model?
Mhm.
And there's much. And well, first off, what we do is we talk to the students, the USEF students, the lab, I guess, the people who are in the lab, as to there's an acknowledgement that they don't know everything.
Mhm.
So, I mean, that's a hard concept to get across. Like you're here to learn, not to teach.
Mhm.
So, I mean, Liz is doing that. So we call that humility. And we have our own, we have our USEF Training Institute where we teach humility. What is our secret sauce? Teach hum and what else can we include in housing stabilization that could support USEF's overall goal? So things there would be, which we are in varying degrees of approaching it, would be we do workforce development
Mhm.
depending upon who comes to us. Do they need workforce development? And if they don't, why aren't those who need it come to us?
Mhm.
Now that comes from us analyzing who we're helping.
Mhm.
So that we're pretty proud of. We want to continue doing that, but we fully recognize that we have to do that plus direct assistance.
Sure.
Only for a practical matter, we can glide through this a lot better than if we fight organizations all the time. I mean, we have a basis to take on other organizations. We work for a lot of organizations. And my sincere, strong recommendation is if they don't pay us, we sue them because we need to pay for our clients, not their clients. Not to say we wouldn't help them to, address our shared clients, but that's what we need. And that's where we're aiming to go. I may be jumping ahead a little bit, but that's what I see us doing over the long run. And we have a couple of things happening. One is the human side of it, which is Liz. Like, who are you? What are you doing here? And that's the holistic and the human side. So it was on the spur of the moment that, we got together, Liz and I, because I saw what she does and she saw what we do. And all of a sudden she wanted to do it and I wanted her to do it.
That's amazing. Wonderful collaboration that
Let
you
me just
guys
stop
have.
there.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure, sure. So I wanted sort of go back to the core services of UESF and talk about how people can access your services. So how does the general public engage with UESF to receive services?
Back when I started, I've been around for a long time, like 17 years. And word of mouth was enough. You need money, come to us. But we don't give only money. Now we give instruction on how to deal with the money. And so how they come to us, it used to be word of mouth. Then next it was our computer system, our website. The most advanced things we've done, and we can't hold them up to look at yet because we're not sure about it, is we perform a concierge service with City Council.
Hmm.
So people will come to City Council and say, can't pay my bill, can you help me? Well, they'll say, yeah, we'll set you up with, and we have a liaison, between us and City Council. We'll set you up with USEF, and they'll help you, not only today, but over the long term. And man, that goes over well for both City Council, us, and the client. So that's how they reach us. A lot of that was response to the pandemic too, because all of a sudden all of our systems weren't there. They may have been workable, but how do they work? Who do they? Where do they apply themselves? So this is where.
And so thank you for that. So folks can get access to services through their councilmatic districts. Are
Yes,
folks able to walk in, make appointments? How else could someone more directly access services?
they can do the walk-in and they can do the direct service that way, or they can talk to us and say what they need. They need a utility grant, for example. Now, they usually don't know this, but what they really need may be a little more housing stabilization. Maybe their budget counseling is that they're spending all their money on one area.
Mhm.
And I don't like saying this, but maybe they don't have to. because some vendors are more allowing than others. So we'll tell them that too. Liz does a lot of people at one time in this course, and we have, and the referral back over to USEF, we have clients who you had talked about. What do we offer them? We offer them case management, and that's an assessment of where they are. That's like full of a lot of a lot of concepts, and then a plan to address where they are, assuming where they are is not where we think they should be, and ultimately where they think they should be, or maybe more accurately where they can be. We've had a lot of success in that. And then so that's like a follow-up of a plan that we'll do. Like, you're not going to get out of this. This is what we would say to a client. You're not going to get out of this anyway at all unless you apply yourself to get a better job. There's just not enough income. That's an extreme case, but that's what we would do. We have a pretty good handle on all of the entitlements that are out there. That's not the answer. That's a temporary answer. Because entitlements by definition won't be around after the entitlement is over.
Right, right. So I think that the fact that folks can call in, they can walk in, they can ask for and receive assistance with utilities, and then you're assessing them for other resource needs is really important. And you said something that also resonates with me. Sometimes people don't know what all might be available to them that they could benefit from.
Yeah.
So I think it's really helpful that you all are proactively providing people with resources that will support them and support them having longer term positive outcomes. So I really appreciate that. Can you talk just a few minutes about what you're looking for on the horizon strategically to do in the next, say, year or two that you're really excited about?
Sure, it would be to have other programs and the effect of those programs within USEF as the driving force would be the need for utility assistance. Like, I need utility assistance because my kids can't do their homework because I don't have any electricity, for example. That's what I mean by that. And as we do that more and more, we see more and more success, not only in solving the electrical problem, like the lights are on now, but also into prevent it from going off again. So that's where the FEP program comes in. That's where Liz comes in.
Okay.
There's a lot more examples, which I'm not going to go into. It's just too much.
Yeah, I know your work is extensive, and I think that the public knowing that is really important. So just to wrap up, I wanted to ask if there's an opportunity for the public to engage with UESF, perhaps by being volunteers, or is there a way that folks can donate to your organization?
We should have a link on the website for that.
Okay.
But that's more mechanical. It's like that's what Liz is not, mechanical. She's real. And there's so many people that would like to volunteer for us. We haven't developed that enough. And based upon the need for it, it's certainly there.
Okay.
Who doesn't want to help their neighbor, keep the lights on or the heat on? Well, we find that a lot do.
People should know that if they donate, those funds go directly back out to the community.
Good point.
We are well funded already with contracts that support our staff and our administrative overhead and things like that. So donations that come in really are directly helping families get on their feet and get stabilized, and that makes for a better community for everybody.
Yep.
That's helpful to hear. I appreciate that. And what we'll do is we'll put a link to your donation page in the show notes so that folks can go on and give. And I'm sure that folks will really appreciate being supportive of resources that are directly going to those who need it. So I want to thank you both for being here today. Thank you so much for sharing the wonderful work of UESF, and take care.
Thanks so much.
Thank you. Liz, thank you.
Thank you.